Hey, it's me, your favorite non-content creator, because I like to say I'm not a content creator. I'm not. That's probably why it's taken me basically all of this week to decide to come on here and just give you guys a very quick overview of what happened Monday. Dre Mack was on this morning. Thank you, Dre, for being able to make it. He would have come no matter what. But we kind of logistically, we worked some things out, and he was able to make it. So thank you for that. I don't expect to have too many of you watching me because you should be at work, unless you work the evening or graveyard shift, in which case you probably should be sleeping. But I'm just, coming on here. You can watch it on a replay if you are at work or if you're sleeping or doing whatever else you should be doing. But before I get started, because we're kind of like at the end of the road here, unless, something else happens. But I know a lot of you probably want to know, who is this chick? Like, I kind of gave you guys a really short idea of what I am, who I am, what I do. But again, I'm not a content creator. I'm not a blogger. I normally don't even have much of a social media presence at all, except for my own personal Facebook page and then my real estate Instagram. But if you go on there right now, you'll see I probably post maybe once a week, every couple of weeks, just to keep it active. But I'm not really into content creation. So this trial is what kind of got me going, mainly reluctantly due to other content creators suggesting it. And it kind of made it a little more efficient for me to relay the information that I needed to relay outside of their channels. So it works. I cannot promise that this will happen anymore, unless, obviously something happens or, something needs to be said. But I just wanted to get on here, explain to you guys who I am, first of all, so that you know. Okay, I'm not a lawyer. I just play one on YouTube. I hold an MBA, which is a Master's of Business Administration. I also have a master's degree in legal studies from the George Washington University, that is in Washington, D.C. I am also a law and public policy PhD candidate, okay? Candidate because I'm very close to being done, but I took a really long break because I'm tired. So that's me from an educational standpoint, okay? So I spent a little over 20 years, maybe 22, 23 years as a C-level. That means like CEO, CFO, CIO, C-level executive and legal assistant. So I've worked for Martha Stewart. I've worked for Revlon. I've worked for, I am a New York City native. I must preface everything with that. I'm a New York City native, born and raised. The majority of my family still lives there. A chunk of them live in Atlanta. Another chunk lives in the Virginia Tidewater area. But I am a New Yorker, die hard through and through. Those positions that I held were in New York for the most part. Also worked for WPIX, which is a news network down in Grand Central. I then became a paralegal in divorce litigation. And my final paralegal position prior to making a career change was in Medicare fraud. That was a nail in the coffin for me. Got tired of getting cussed out by federal judges for 8 hours a day. And so I kind of looked at it and I was like, okay, I need to get out of this because, first of all, I'm not a corporate person. I never liked corporate America. It was just something that I ended up in because of the education I got in high school. I went to a high school, magnet high school, that was for business careers. And we were basically programmed that you should just go into corporate America because that's where the money is. We're right off of the yuppie era. My high school was in the Wall Street area. And so, that was, where they told us to focus on corporate. So my first position out of high school was for an international law firm. called LaBeouf, Lamb, Green, and McCrae. And then from there, I just held a lot of other legal assistant type positions up until I got into the C-level positions and then ultimately the paralegal position. So fast forward to that last traumatic Medicare fraud paralegal position that I had, I decided I needed to change, primarily because during that time, my daughters were at the age where they needed me. One was about 11 and the other one was 7 or 8 respectively. And I was trying to figure out a way to obviously still have a career and have a job or whatever you want to call it and be there for them. And so I found out that the state of Florida allows you to use whatever degree that you have to become a K-12 teacher. So I got certified, still am certified, to teach business education's grades 6 through 12. So business education is basically in the career and technical education department of the Florida Department of Education. So that encompasses all career-focused education. So whether that's computer science, entrepreneurship, accounting, computer programming, engineering, anything that has to do with a career, automotive, nursing, that's the department that it covers. So I taught the business classes, the computer classes, the finance classes. So my last position, I taught high school finance. Did that all the way up until almost a year ago, while concurrently holding my real estate license, because as you know, they don't pay teachers very well at all, nationwide, let alone in Florida. So obviously to make up the difference in income, I became a real estate agent, and I've been doing that ever since. Started, selling. I obviously started as a sales agent, helping people purchase homes, sell their homes, and now I am an investor. Still help people buy and sell homes, but I mainly focus on investing in real estate, either fixing and flipping or holding, and either Airbnb-ing them or having tenants, like long-term tenants. So I still do that. I currently do that. And then I also have a nonprofit. What do you want to call it? They are called, here in Florida, they're called Community Residential Homes and Supported Living Homes under the Agency for Persons with Disabilities. So that falls back into my, educational background, because in becoming an educator and in teaching a lot of those computer courses, I had as students a lot of developmentally disabled students, mostly autism. And anybody that knows anything about the autism spectrum, a lot of those children love computer classes. And I had a lot of those students. And so that kind of, helped me to realize that there's something to that. There's something to this population of people that are slipping through the cracks, that people just take for granted that they don't know anything, they can't do anything, just, have them be a bagger at the local grocery store and, everything will be okay. And, I'm not okay with that, because, as a parent, as an educator, and as someone that is now a provider for this population, my homes that I provide, life skills, education, in addition to a home for these individuals to live in, home environment, as opposed to being institutionalized or put into group home environments where it's impersonal. It's literally just 3 hots and a cot. You know what I mean? So that's what I do now. So I went on and on and on and on and on and on, but that's me. That's who I am. So that's it. Okay. So I do still, I still do things within the legal realm, but my primary focus of late, outside of this, Jonathan Majors coverage, has been real estate. And obviously there's a lot of legal stuff that comes with that. So that's where my legal background is constantly being used. I'm currently involved in a legal situation with the county that I live in, because they are basically discriminating against the population that I serve, and they're trying to prevent me from opening another home in this county. So, I'm still always dealing with attorneys and the law and things like that. So I'm not going to keep going on and on. Let me do my introduction. We're going to get into what I actually came here to do. Hey, I'm back. Okay, I'm just now seeing the comments. Sorry, I forgot to click. I forgot to click the comments when I got started. Hey, Chill, how you doing? Can you clarify, Danny the Chick? We want to know about is the other Atherton I saw a photo of. What? I need you to clarify that, Chill, or if you want to come on and ask me, because I am accepting people that are awake that want to come on and chat with me, because I don't know if this might be my last stream. I don't know. I'm hoping it is in terms of anything problematic relating to Jonathan Majors. But I think this is kind of sort of a farewell stream-ish, because like I said, I'm not a content creator. I don't see myself coming on here every few days or every week and doing something. Thank you, Chill. I appreciate that. I work really hard. As you see, I have on my workout clothes because this is my thing. If I don't put on my workout clothes before I do anything that's going to take up some of my time, I'm not going. So I decided to get dressed before I started this, so that when I'm done, I can just get up and go. That's just my own mind game that I do. It works. So judge me not. It works. I'm still working on that discipline part of the process. But thank you, Jill. I appreciate that. I really wish I could have met you in person, but one day. Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate that, because like I said, and I'll repeat this until I'm blue in the face. This was not my intention. I did this, really out of curiosity and to keep my word to Pam and Flavio, and then it kind of just snowballed into something else. And I'm kind of glad that it did, because I think I took for granted. I realized it, but I think I took for granted that the media would be fair. I did not realize how unfair the media was until you guys told me, because I just was posting updates. I've had my Twitter account for about 11, 12 years, only use it maybe once or twice a week. And I just posted. And then I noticed that you guys were saying, well, no, this is not what they said. And so then I was like, oh, shoot. So now I'm in deeper than I thought. Thank you, Hazel. Now I'm in deeper than I thought. And so it kind of like snowballed from there. And again, this was all for Jonathan. This was all for ensuring that what everyone saw as a very questionable case, that it was confirmed. That it was confirmed that that was the case, and that I wasn't just up here blowing smoke and fangirling. Barbara, actually here in Florida, I call him the Satan, but Ron DeSantis, he actually made that a law. He made that a law last year, actually, that every student has to take a finance course before they graduate high school. That's where I came in. Under my certification. I just started teaching that 2 years ago. But prior to that, I taught all the computer certification classes. And so those are industry certifications from Adobe and Microsoft. And those are the certifications that a lot of trainers and IT professionals get and have to pay out of pocket. So the students get those for free in the public school systems under the courses that I would teach. So Florida, it's a law. I mean, I'm hoping that they make that a law. It's still an elective. The course is still an elective, but it's a required elective. So every student has to take that elective in addition to at least one of the other courses I taught, which was either the digital design or the digital information technology, which is the Microsoft Office class. Okay, let's see what else what's going on with these comments. Yes, thanks everybody. Again, thanks Pam for holding me to going up there, and thank you to everybody in the Twitterverse, the YouTubeverse, that kind of helped me accountable and made me keep going, because I said before I was just going to go that first week, and that Thursday that I was not able to go, I was really not planning on going back until the sentencing. And once Jimmy went in my place, I had to come back. So I literally flew in the next morning. I probably had about 3 hours of sleep after picking up my daughter from Tallahassee. Flew in from Tallahassee on a layover flight, ran through the Atlanta airport because Atlanta is hell on earth when it comes to layovers. And came to the courthouse that Friday, and then obviously the whole rest of the trial leading up to the verdict. So I thank you guys for holding me accountable, because honestly, I said I said I did my part. I kept my promise to Pam and Flavio, and I went. You see that this is all nonsense. They're lying. They're omitting information. They're omitting coverage. They're, sensationalizing certain things that weren't that big of a deal. And then it snowballed into this, right? So I just want to thank you guys. Thank you for following me. Thank you for retweeting, sharing. Thank you right now for being here, because I actually have 54 of you. So either you guys are watching from work, on your way to work, or you're off work. I'm just trying to, let your bosses know it ain't my fault. But yeah, that's true, Barbara. And I thought about that, and I thought that, okay, maybe I wanted to have this be the catalyst to maybe cover other cases like this. But I have to think about that, because I know that there's a case going on right now here in Florida, the OnlyFans case, and that's not similar, but it has a similar dynamic to it in terms of race, interracial relationships in the justice system. But I don't know yet if that's something that I can take on by virtue of the career that I've chosen for myself now, that I'm not on anybody's clock. I have a lot of control over my schedule, and that's by design. I don't know. It might be something that I do in the future. I'm sure I'm not going to do it for this OnlyFans case, because this one seems like it's going to be a big one. But I think that it's something to think about. I just don't want to make promises that I can't keep, because that's not me. And again, like I said, I'm not a content creator, so I don't want people to have the expectation of me coming on here every, few days, and I can't. I just don't have. Despite what it seems, I'm an introvert. I don't like going outside a lot. I don't like being on camera a lot. I don't find myself to be very photogenic at all. So I don't like doing that a whole lot. So it's just something that I have to kind of think about and decide if I do it, how I want to execute it, so that, the expectation is not there that I'm going to be here every few days, because I just can't. I don't have it. After this, I'll probably go disappear for another 2 weeks, because that's just me. I have to go to a comedy club on Saturday with a friend of mine, and I'm already like, oh Lord, I'm gonna have to go hide for another week after that, because I just get really overwhelmed, I guess, if you want to call it, with a lot of activity around me, so I can kind of get how people can feel that way, sometimes. All right, let me get through these comments. Let's see. I think I got that. Hazel, oh, the Chuck Taylors. Oh yes, I love me some Chuck Taylors. Y'all killing me with the outfit though, because I totally. First of all, I was not going to wear that, but then I saw the weather in New York, and I was like, okay, I had a coat, but my daughter was with me. She didn't bring a coat, and so I let her take my coat. And so I had that outfit in my bag all along. I wanted to be casual but warm. So I said, okay, well, let me do denim because it's thick. And then I had some thick socks on and the high top sneakers. So I was like, okay, my feet will be warm. The majority of my body will be warm. I had on a scarf, primarily because I destroyed my neck. That's what I'm trying to cover it up. One night I was scratching my neck and didn't realize how hard I scratched it. And I like dug a hole in my neck. But I wore the scarf. So I said, okay, I'll be relatively warm because it's going to be 60 degrees today. It's not going to kill me to be outside for 5 seconds going into the courthouse because my daughter stole my coat. And I totally, full transparency, that whole outfit was probably $80. Top. I was not planning on dressing up. I was not planning on wearing anything fancy because I knew we were going to be in and out. I wanted to be comfortable. I did not want my feet hurting in case we had to stand for a long time. So I said, let me just throw on some sneakers, denim, scarf, and be out. You know, I didn't even barely comb my hair. So I'm glad that you guys like the outfit. I'm totally happy about that because I thought it was just a regular old outfit. I did not think it was anything special or, you know, but thanks. I feel good. I'm glad that you guys like my mom gear. Thank you, Adiola. I appreciate you. Okay, I saw that one already. Barbara. Yes, thank you. Now, I do pride myself in being able to put an outfit together. That I can do. I do. You guys got to see my closet. It's thick. I actually got it as a gift last June, and it's a nice closet. It's a very nice closet. It's about 10 by 12 feet, so you do the math. And it's color coded, so I have it in, you know, colors like the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, blue, you know, that whole thing. It's an experience. My closet is an experience. So I do like clothes. I like to coordinate. But I did not think that outfit on Monday was one of my best works of art. But thank you. So now I know that I don't have to do much anymore to, you know, to make you guys happy. Yeah, that was a mess. I'm not even going to talk about that because that's a whole other conversation. I'm positive there will be a countersuit. That's really the only way to do it at this point. And, you know, he has a lot of support. And that's what I told him on Monday. I told him that the people that were sitting at that table, excuse me again, I'm trying to hide this pothole that I dug in my chest. The people that I chose, and I chose a few others, but they couldn't make it, to sit at that table were not fans. And I told them, I said, this was not, you know, set up to be like a trip to Universal Studios. Like to, you know, just come, walk, you know, fan out and leave. You know, these are people that really love you. And that's the word that I use. I said, we love you. This is not, you know, you have to understand that this is not about you, the celebrity. This is about you, the person, you know, and that's what this was about. And he knows, but I think he needed to see it and feel it to understand it, you know, because it's easy to talk, you know. I'm one of those people, I'm all about action. If something goes wrong, if I'm having a, you know, disagreement with somebody or we fall out or whatever the issue is, a misunderstanding, I'm not the kind of person that needs you to grovel, apologize. I need to see action. I need to see changes in behavior, right? So I'm all about action. I'm that person that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. You know, even if, you know, at the moment I'm upset about something, and I did have one of those moments, but I'm upset about something or frustrated about something, that's not going to change the way I feel about someone. That's not going to change what I told you I would do. And that's what I wanted to articulate, and not only articulate, but show to Jonathan that we are actually showing up. You know, we want you to know that we are here. And we did not know that the media was going to actually notice us. And I'm glad that they did, not for our own personal edification or our own personal being bigged up, but just so that they can, I wanted them to notice so that they could see that he had support that was not just family, girlfriend, lawyer, you know, that he had people that are actually living their everyday lives, one of them in a whole other country, and still have him on their mind and still care about him and care about his future and his personal, you know, not just his celebrity, you know, because at the end of the day, outside of all of this, he's still a human being. He's still a person. He's a father. He's a brother. He's a son, you know, and we tend to forget that when we're thinking about celebrities or talking about celebrities. And I feel like Jonathan has set himself apart from the average celebrity just by being as transparent as he's been throughout his career that we've been able to track thus far. You can go back 3, 4, 5 years and read articles and interviews that he's done, that he wears his life on his sleeve. You know, he's always humanized himself. He's always given people information that most celebrities don't give. And that's why I think I took to him as well, because like I've said before, Barbara, you're funny. Roving reporter for cases that make us question reality. Oh, yeah, that's a good spin. I might think about that. Now that's a good spin. I think I could probably work that out. Like the anti-Twilight Zone, or the antithesis of the reality that we're currently experiencing. Okay. That's why I gave you the whole spiel about who I actually am and what I do, because I know some of you were wondering, like, who is this chick? I actually updated my bio on YouTube with all that information as well, because I never really explained what I do. I kind of mentioned it here and there, but I never explained it so that people could understand that, you know, why I say I'm not a content creator. I don't have a job per se, and that's by design. I have a career or a couple of careers that I designed for myself where I have control over my time. So let's just say they're passive income streams. Some are active because I do have to do some things, but I'm not on the clock. I get up when I feel like it. I get up and go when I feel like it. Unless I have an appointment that I set, like to meet a client or to meet one of their caseworkers or to go to one of the homes and make sure everything, because the homes have living staff. That's the only time I actually have to be tied down to a day and time. But other than that, I freestyle my days. I come and go as I please. So thank you. And I'm reading as I'm talking, so sorry. I just got to the second half of your sentence. I hate my voice, and that's another reason why I don't like doing this kind of thing. I thank you, though. You're very kind. I appreciate that, but I still hate my voice. My laugh is weird. Someone told me I laugh like Beavis and Butthead. Actually, my aunt did, but she does too. So I guess it's genetic. Yeah, thank you. You're very kind. I'm not sure if you're in the fan group, but please join, because I would like to, you know, keep in contact with all of you guys. If you're not in the Facebook fan club, or we do have a new Instagram fan club, so we'll spread the word on that too for Jonathan Majors. These are both official. Okay, so very important to note, because these are the official fan pages. Official, meaning he told me directly that we can make it official, he and his publicist. So I'm saying that to say that's why it's important to join those pages, because that's where you're going to get true information. That's where you're going to get exclusive content. That's where you're going to get direct interaction with myself, because I actually am the admin on that page now, with myself. And if and when Jonathan sends us anything post, that's where it'll be. All right. And if you see it anywhere else, it's because they lifted it from our page. Okay. So that's why it's very important to get followers to the Instagram and to the Facebook page, because those are the legitimate pages. Now, there are really no Facebook pages. And if there are, they only have like maybe a couple of hundred followers, if that. But there are a couple of Instagram pages with hundreds of thousands of followers, but they aren't active. Yeah, that's another thing. Hey, Michael, how you doing? We're not going to talk about that person, primarily because, the only thing I will say about that is what's been already documented in the media, and that is that she made it clear that she will not rest until Jonathan cannot do what he did ever again. So to me, that sounds like a threat. Y'all do with that what y'all want. To me, it also sounds like harassment. To me, it also sounds like, narcissistic tendencies. But that's just me. Not diagnosing anyone, not making any accusations. But I can read and I can comprehend pretty well by virtue of my career and my education. So y'all do with that what you want. It's been published in a couple of different news publications that she said those exact words. I will not rest until he, cannot do this to someone else. So that's it, and that's all. Oh, I will not rest until I feel he is not a danger. Those are the exact words. So you do with that what you want. Because it's one thing to say I will not rest until this type of situation doesn't happen to someone else in general, meaning you want to be the poster child for fake domestic violence claims. But to specify and have him in the crosshairs of that statement, it's giving harassment. It's giving he probably needs a restraining order, but that's just me. Moving on, though, I'm not going to acknowledge any more comments relating to her, just because I don't want, her trying to use this as leverage for anything else she tries to do. But as you guys know, I'm about that life, so I want it. Bring it. Bring it, because as it is, she's probably going to be paying him back through her great grandchildren if that countersuit comes through and she decides not to back down. But that's a whole other issue. All right, let's see. Yes, Juanita. I don't think I'm photogenic. I'm okay. I guess I'm okay with this, because this is pretty much what I really look like. But for some reason, in still photographs, I look weird. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me over judging myself, but I think I look weird in still photographs. And it takes a lot for me to get a really good still photograph. Like, I have to go through about 10 of them just to find one that I like. I do not think he can. I'm not a lawyer. I do know very well about prosecutorial discretion and prosecutorial immunity. So, in the sense of as respects prosecutorial discretion, that's exactly what it means. They have the discretion to decide what they're going to prosecute. Whether we like it or not. Whether we think it's worth it or not, that's their discretion. They can pick and choose, and that's exactly what they did here. There's nothing illegal about that. Now, where you get into ambiguities in terms of legality and maybe even corruption is what they do leading up to or during the prosecution of whatever case they decide to prosecute. And so far, from what I've seen and what I know, I do not know anything about stuff that may have happened that's still or that has not been revealed yet. But based on what I know and what I've seen, they followed, what they should have done. There's nothing that they did that was not correct. Ethical, that's another question. But in terms of legal, they followed what they were supposed to do from a legal standpoint. So, in terms of suing them, I don't know, because it would have to be something really egregious. Like, for example, a lot of those Innocence Project cases where you have people that truly were innocent, truly innocent, and they were convicted of rapes and murders. And the reason why they were convicted was because of police corruption and tampering with evidence and planting evidence and downright allowing people to lie on other people because they wanted to keep their conviction rates high. That is, that can be sued. That can be litigated. But stuff like this, not really, because they didn't do anything illegal in that way. The only thing that they did which was very questionable and unethical to me, was to let her walk, because she essentially committed the same crimes that they claim he did, and they just let her get away with it. That's not illegal. It's unethical, but it's not illegal. So, that's where that is. But he can sue individuals. So that's up to, his lawyers and what they advise him to do. He can sue individuals, but not necessarily the DA's office as an entity. Yes, it's same. And I took this on as a personal thing. This was not, like, again, I've said this before and I will keep saying it just to underscore the fact that I did not know who John, and I told him this, and he looked at me like, I don't know if he was looking at me like I was crazy or if he was looking at me like, oh, that's cool. I don't know, because he's kind of hard to read at times. But either way, I'll be crazy or I'll be cool. But I did not know who he was. I promise you, I did not know who he was. I knew his face, but I did not know, it wasn't like, you say Denzel Washington, or you'll say Idris Elba, or you'll say, I'm trying to think who else. Even Method Man, even though he's not an actor in my opinion. But, it's not like you say those names and right away you'll say, oh yeah, he was in this. I did not know who he was in that sense. I had seen him prior to Creed. I had seen him in Lovecraft Country and The Harder They Fall. But I did not watch either one of those because I knew he was in it. I watched The Harder They Fall because Jay-Z had something to do with it, and so I just wanted to see how it would be. And then I watched Lovecraft Country because my friend Sparkle had been talking about it so much on Facebook during the pandemic. I was like, well, there's nothing else for me to do. Let me watch this because she's been talking about it so much. Maybe there's something to it. Because I'm not into sci-fi too tough. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish watching it, but let me start it and see, what it's about. And it turns out that it actually did pique my interest because it's a lot more, it's very heavy on the science fiction, as you all know, but it's equal parts history and civil rights and all that type of stuff, which is really what I like. I'm really into history and civil rights and anything related to throwbacks to those eras of time. So, so I watched it. I probably watched it 6 or 7 times since. Oh, and then I did also see him in The Five Blood. But again, I did not watch The Five Bloods because Jonathan Majors was in it. I watched it because I love Spike Lee. I love his work. And I was like, oh, yay, a Spike Lee movie. Okay, so by the time I really truly knew who he was Creed. Because I saw the Creed poster. And like I told him Monday, I was like, oh, okay, who's this? And then when I looked it up and then subsequently went to go see the movie, I was like, oh, snap. That's the dude from these movies that I saw before. And I only knew that because when I went on IMDb, it was like, I was like, okay, now I recognize him because obviously he looks slightly different because he gained weight, right? And he was a completely different character from the movies that I had seen prior. So for me, it was organically concerned about, oh, he definitely will be back. I'm confident. I'm not even going to say quietly confident. I'm strongly confident, loudly confident that he will be back. But yeah, I know, right? Well, I did my ancestry.com, so I do know what mine is. But they can go right ahead. It's probably public record anyway because I think they sell it to CODIS or somebody so that they can solve crimes now. So thank God I haven't murdered anybody in the last 5 years. But they, as I was saying, I was organically interested in him as a person once I saw what was happening with this case. Once I heard that he got arrested after calling the police, I was like, oh, hold on. But even then, I wasn't really vested in it. I just was kind of watching from the sidelines and giving my own commentary on my own personal Facebook. But I didn't get it. I didn't get it. And so that's what kind of pushed me to delve deeper. And then, that's why I'm here where I am now. I can go on for days, but Hazel, not a prayer. I was talking to him. But you let the trolls on Lipstick Alley say, I was rubbing, my hips on his arms and, trying to take Megan's man. But, it is what it is. The one thing about me, and it's been since middle school, high school, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. And even when I taught middle school kids, because middle school kids will try. They got some nasty mouths and they'll say some slick stuff. And my clapback game is superior. So they knew not to play that with me. But I've had to tell a couple of even 8th graders, I'm like, you guys have no idea that I have not cared what anybody thought about me since I was your age. So carry on. Literally, I have not cared about what anyone thought about me for at least 30 years, 35 years. So, they can say whatever. They can, I guess I'm the light-skinned girl on Lipstick Alley because apparently we have a couple of moles in the fan group that, are cowards and like to hide their identity while lifting things off of the fan page to post on Lipstick Alley. But, I was just talking to him, encouraging him, just talking. Nothing, nothing nefarious was going on. But unfortunately, as Chill said, I have good genetics. So I guess it looked as though, my ample, ass was, violating the rules of engagement. I have no idea. As if I can control, the fact that I'm not a size 0 and whatever. But it is what it is. It is what it is. No, you're fine, Barbara. I'm a goofball. I'm extremely goofy and silly, and I love to stay happy, and I love being as positive. And I'm not into toxic positivity. Obviously, if something's wrong, I'm going to say it's wrong, and I'm not going to pretend like it's not wrong. But for the most part, for things that are within my control, I am I like to stay positive, and I like to put positive energy out. And just keep everybody focused. Thank you, Juanita. Yeah, I think we all, because I sound one way in my head, and in my head, I think I sound okay. But then when I hear it on video or audio, I'm like, ooh. Like, I don't like it, but, you know, it is. I can't do anything about it. The only thing I could control was my accent, because I did have a very, very thick, bordering on Cardi B accent prior to, I guess, prior to having to speak better by virtue of, again, my career and my education. You know, I had to kind of like, you know, dial that back. But I slipped back into that, especially once I get home and I'm comfortable and I don't have to, you know, speak publicly. I definitely go back into my, you know, and for real, you know, all that kind of nonsense. But yeah, I think so. And if not, Kang, something, you know, comparable or, you know, within the realm of what, you know, the fans want to see. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put the links I'm going to put the links in the chat now. Sorry, I was trying to do it, but then my computer started acting like it was going to try to freeze. So I'm really hoping that it doesn't freeze while I do this and mess up the whole stream. We're going to try it. I'm going to try to do that now. I'm going to put the fan page in the chat. Please share it, like it, you know, participate or whatever. Because like I said, this is the official page. Jonathan's publicist and I are working on so I just put the Facebook page in the chat. I'm going to put the Instagram in there now. I think it's got two-factor authentication on it, so I might have to go on my phone and do it. Yeah, hopefully it'll just let me log in, but I don't know. Please do the Instagram though, because that one hardly has any followers, primarily because it's brand new. But I know a lot more people are on Instagram than they are Facebook. Especially younger people. I sound like I'm like 50, but younger in the sense of younger millennials and Gen Xers. Gen Zers. I'm the Gen Xer. Younger people and the Gen Zers tend to be on Instagram a lot. So that's my Instagram page with the hope that send that now. Chat. Sorry, I have authentication on everything, and it just takes forever to get things done. But there's in the chat, there's the Instagram. So I just put the Facebook and the Instagram links in the chat. So please, guys, follow it, share it. I know there's way more than 100 of you out there that are loving Jonathan Majors. Hey, Sissy Majors, how are you? Let's see. Let me see some more of these comments. What we got. Chill, I'm not playing with you. I already told you, we done with that one. We're done with that one. He said, Barbara says they got a lot of details correct and a few wrong. What are we talking about? Oh, a movie. Okay, got you. Okay, I lost that one. Sorry. I missed the opportunity to get that one. Oh yeah. I don't even follow the Shade Room, but I followed the Jonathan Majors hashtag this morning just to see what was going on, and of course it put me on the Shade Room. And it's insane to me how this same platform was the one clowning him at every turn. Every opportunity they had to clown Jonathan Majors, they went in. Now, that he shouldn't have gone. He shouldn't have done jail time. Exactly. I knew it. I'm like, when I tell you, but you know what? I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to throw shade. It is what it is. I'm hoping that from a situation like this, that the Shade Room and other toxic Black blogs will be more careful about the information that they're putting out there, and the perpetuation of helping white media destroy our men. And just like Drake said this morning, the Black media has failed him. All of it, every bit of Black media failed him, even to date has failed him, even with the fact that, we knew he wasn't going to get jail time anyway. Anybody that is a layperson that has either been involved in, been a victim of, been the actual, person that committed it, knows that first time domestic violence, true domestic violence situations, especially where the person in question pled guilty to it, the most you'll get is probation, in addition to anger management, a fine, community service. All he got was the equivalent of what would be an anger management class. In this case, it's a domestic, violence like diversion program. He didn't even get the fine per se, because he just paid the surcharge to the court. The fines are usually upwards of $1,000. Probation is usually a full year. And when I say probation, because that's another thing that the media is misreporting, they're saying that he got probation. Probation, for those of you who have experienced it or know people that have experienced it, you have a probation officer. You have to check in with the probation officer, do your analysis. He did not get that. He got a class that he has to take in person, unless he can prove to the courts that he has secured employment that will not allow him to go in person. And then the judge said he would make allowances for a virtual option. But he did not get probation. He's not checking in with the probation officer. He is not paying probation fees every time he goes. I'm saying fees because I know in Georgia, and I think here in Florida as well, you actually, every time you go through your PO, you have to pay toward that fine that you got charged. Thank you. Is that you saying me, Danny, or the DA? Oh, the DA of New York. Oh yeah, karma's coming. Karma is coming. Thank you, Winter. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Like I said, this really was not about me. It still isn't. But I'm just trying to give you guys the information that you need. But yeah, he did not get probation as defined or as typically experienced by the average person. So I don't know why they keep saying that or why they keep trying to highlight that, because another thing about probation too, usually, is that you cannot leave the state without permission at all. And in this case, he can go wherever he feels like it. He just has to tell the judge so that he can take his classes virtually. That's the only reason why he's checking in with the judge. It's so that, okay, I have to go to Milan, I have to go to Morocco, I have to go to Toronto. I need to take these classes virtually that I've been taking in person while I was in LA. That's the only thing he's checking in for. He's not seeing a PO every month. He's not paying a fee every month. He's not limited to where he can go as a result of being on probation. So just letting you guys know that's something else that they're misinforming you guys about, which is just wild to me. I don't get it, but it is what it is. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, and then somebody noticed it in the sketch that one of the sketch artists drew from the courtroom. how over it the judge looked. And that picture didn't even capture the half of it. When I tell you, he was literally looking at her like, have you guys seen that meme of Diddy? No, of Diddy and that, I think it was like some kind of American Idol show where they're like kind of staring at each other. He kind of had that face on, like, are you serious? Like, am I really sitting here hearing this? He was over it. And I think what highlighted the fact that he was over it is that he made it a point to say that not only was he not trying to prevent Jonathan from working and taking care of his family, but that the harassment charge that he got time served on, he made it clear in saying, which is not a crime, made that clear. And you see the media didn't report that. They did not report that the judge made it clear that that harassment conviction was not a crime. It's a violation. And we've said that all along, but we needed the judge to say that. And he said it. And that's why he got time served on that. He should have gotten time served on all of it, because really he did a sentence by losing all of his, losing the employment that, we know that he lost. That's a sentence in itself. And it's been a year. So there's his year. He did his year. You know what I mean? And that could be why they didn't give him actual probation, because you did your year. You lost your work. You lost your reputation. You had people out here clowning you left and right, lying on you. That's worse than a jail sentence to me, because now he has to pick up the pieces. And again, I'm going to do whatever I have to do with the help of anyone else that's, willing to take it on, to make sure that, this guy is not going to continue to be slandered and treated like, like he didn't do anything good. They make it seem like he was always a problem, like he was always in the media, like he was always doing something, and they just did a 180 on him. Like, it's just crazy to me. It's wild business. The Loki, he did an excellent job. Man. So if nothing else, I hope they definitely bring him back on Loki, because Loki came out during the situation. It's not like they retaped anything or omitted certain episodes from Loki season 2. So I feel like that door is definitely open, if nothing else. And they did allude to in the last episode of Loki that I might be saying it wrong. I don't follow Marvel at all. Sorry. I've watched some of their movies, but I don't really understand the whole franchise. I think it's Rama Tut. I think that's how you say it. They hinted that was going to be the next variant in season 3. So I'm hoping that that's the case. I really do. I really hope so. Let's see. Yes, Lovecraft. I watch it a lot, mainly because, let me clarify that. Wait, let me rewind. I've watched it several times, mainly because, like I said, I have ADD, as you can tell by me just being ping-ponging back and forth between the comments and, and what I was planning on saying and getting derailed from that. And every time I watch it, I see something different. Every single time. I catch something different in the dialogue. I catch something different in one of the scenes. I catch something different. It's a lot. The show itself is a lot. So you definitely need to watch it at least twice straight through to catch everything. But it's very well executed. And that's part of why, here I go with my knee. I was about to say part of why I like it. And then of course I love all the historical context. I'm a sucker for anything relating to history. And that's part of why I like a lot of his work too, because the majority of it is rooted in some type of true story or history or period pieces. I guess that's what they call them. I love those. I love history and anything related to it. Yes. Red beanies, yes, red beanies forever. Before I forget, I'm going to show you guys a couple of news articles that we found so far that mention that, because that's part of what I meant about, noticing that he had support outside of family and lawyers and publicists and everybody else. That is important. We're just a microcosm of what's really out there. The hundreds of thousands, even millions of you that actually support him. And just the fact that they switched from consistently demonizing him and trying to make him look like this nut job fool to acknowledging that he had support was very pleasing to me, because that was really surprising, honestly. I didn't think they would. They were asking us questions, because when I was sitting in the courtroom, there was a reporter right behind me that asked what the red meant. And I facetiously / sarcastically said, why? Do we look like a gang? Because I was trying to be funny, because I was like, is that what you're going to say that I said versus what it really means? And so I explained to him what it meant and, kept it going. And then when we left the courtroom after the sentencing had been, handed down and everybody left, we had another reporter ask us what it meant. And then as we were leaving, they asked us what it meant. And then I was the one that said, it's his favorite color. As I was trying to find my Uber, who I had to curse out because he kept trying to make me meet him on another corner after I told him where I was. And I was like, I don't pay you to have me meet you on another corner. So I kind of got into Karen mode, because I was agitated, not only by the media asking us all those questions, but by the fact that I'm standing there and he's telling me need to come back around the corner. But that's a whole other issue. My computer's freezing, but I'm trying to share another article where they mentioned, this is the Hollywood Reporter. The one before that was, if I'm not mistaken, it was, The Independent. So yeah, you hear this is up here where it says that he shook hands with a row of supporters who have been wearing red beanies. We were wearing the red beanies. I kind of warned everyone that they probably were going to make us take them off. When I came to trial, I had on a hat almost every day, whether it was a fedora, whether it was the red beanie, and they didn't bother me at all. They didn't bother any women that had on hats. I did hear them tell a couple of men to take their hats off, but women that had on hats, they did not bother. So I figured, well, at least one of us could keep our hats on. But of course, this particular photo said that every time he shows up, there's nothing but chaos. He decided that he didn't want anyone to wear hats, and so we had to take them off. But I'm glad that they noticed and saw that, because I didn't think that anybody noticed it, and I didn't even think it was newsworthy. We were just doing it for him, out of solidarity for him, and they noticed it. So I'm glad that they did. Chill said to draw a connection to Jonathan, because if you Google Jonathan Majors, I want to say about 75% of the pictures of him he has on a red beanie, outside of red carpet stuff. Pictures of him that are not red carpet pictures, he has on a beanie. And there might be a red carpet picture where he does have on a beanie as well. But yeah, that's his thing. That's his signature look. He even mentioned it in the, I think it was GQ, his 10 favorite things. That was his first favorite thing. He called it a be seen beanie, so that he can be seen when wearing it, rides bikes. So he said he bought it because he rides bikes and he wanted to be seen so he wouldn't get run over on the streets of New York. Hey, Eliza. Thank you, Lou La Petite. Thank you. I appreciate it. Ninja. Thank you, am I saying Eli? Is it Eliza? Thank you. Well, that falls in line with my whole 10-minute spiel of what my career was prior to what I do now. I worked for C-level executives in corporate America, and so that's my whole job. Travel, doing travel, booking travel, meetings, arranging meetings, dealing with people, dealing with very rude people. So, that's kind of where that skill set came from. In corporate America, they call it soft skills. So that's where that came from. And then I travel a lot myself. So I'm always, doing that. I'm going to be traveling a lot. Monday kind of started it going, but at the end of the month, I have to go to LA. Then in June, I have to go to Charlotte and London. In July, I have to go to Chicago and back to London. So I travel a lot. I'm going to have to say that. So that becomes easy for me in terms of booking travel and hotels and cars and setting things up, meetings and things like that. So that's just part of that. I'm kind of hardwired with that now. Hey Andre, how you doing? Let me see. I'm trying to catch up with the comments. Forgive me. I've been on here over an hour now. So what time is it? I was supposed to be going to the gym at 1 o'clock. I guess I'm not. I'll go after my spa treatment at 2:30. Tell me you're in the gang, Barbara. She said I can't wear red hat anymore. Thanks to 20. What happened in 2016? Do tell. Right, exactly. And that's probably what I should have said. I should have been like, we're covering our head for God. Like, leave us alone. I didn't have my head covered because I forgot my hat in the hotel room. I thought I had it in my purse, and I think I did have it in my purse. And I took out trying to find my phone and left it on the credenza in the hotel room. But I had everything else on red. And my daughter actually said, well, you have on enough red, so you don't really need the hat anyway. And she could have been right. Yeah, I wasn't trying to look like, a crime scene. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a foregone conclusion. We already know. We know what it is. And if nothing else, I pray that the content creators and myself have shed light. I think I'm glitching. If I'm glitching, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with my computer today. But if it did nothing else, it shed light on this type of behavior. And I think now, not only come election time, these positions to be refilled, come any other cases that are of similar nature, we're going to be, their feet are going to be held to the fire now, and accountability is going to have to be there. They're going to have to be more careful about what they prosecute and how they prosecute it, because now we see it. We see what you were doing, and we're not having it anymore. And I pray that this also helps people who are voting in that jurisdiction see that elections have consequences. That the people that you vote for, you need to carefully vet them. Don't just go just because the NAACP said that this is a good candidate. Vote for them, because as you already know, the NAACP president lives in the state of Florida, and he actually tried to cripple the Florida economy by telling people not to come here over the Satan not allowing the AP African American Studies course. So over one course, one class, that's an elective that even if it was allowed, would not make any difference in anybody's academic career from a college acceptance standpoint, because they have the class as a non-AP class anyway. Both my kids took it, and I almost taught it. You're going to, over one class, cripple the Florida economy by telling people not to come here when you know that we have the most theme parks, the most tourism, the most beaches, Like what? So I'm saying that to say, stop letting organizations like that dictate who you vote for, and do your own research. Okay? Because had you done your own research, he probably wouldn't have been elected. I'm talking to New Yorkers. And see, a lot of the issue too with New Yorkers too is that it's not the South. And a lot of New Yorkers are under the illusion that New York is not racist. And so, whereas Southern people understand the politics behind organizations like the NAACP, most Northeasterners don't. They just know civil rights movement. Okay, they must be good. Not all skin folk are kin folk. I'm just gonna say that. Okay. Oh yeah, of course. And the same thing goes for I'm gonna say this, but no offense to attorneys. Same thing goes for paralegals, physician assistants. We are the ones doing the bulk of the job. They just show up. Nurse practitioners. Both my daughters were delivered by nurse practitioners. The doctor just showed up to make sure I was still alive and sign off on the paperwork. So I'm saying that to say, C-level executive assistants, paralegals, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, they are literally the right arm of the physicians, the lawyers, that's their they basically do the job, and then the physician, the attorney, comes in and makes sure it's done correctly and makes sure that it's done as they requested. But we do the job. CEOs, we do the job. You're just showing up to meetings. You're showing up, to make the deal. We're doing all the behind the scenes work. So we understand the job as much as you do, if not better. Yeah, he does miss his daughter, and I pray that he got to see her this week. I pray to God he did. But yeah, we're not going to talk about that because that'll get me all worked up, because I have two daughters, and the relationship that they have with their dad is, I don't care if I woke up tomorrow and hated the fact that we shared the same oxygen. I would never, ever, 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 ever interrupt that or try to prevent that relationship from happening, ever. I cannot say there's anything that he could do to me short of, obviously if he tried to kill me, that's another issue. We're talking within reason here, but I don't think there's anything that he could say or do to me that would make me not want him to have a relationship with his daughter. And I don't understand that of women that do that. If your life is not in danger, if their life is not in danger, and it's just literally an issue of personality and bitterness on both sides, I don't understand why a child shouldn't see their father. I don't. And there's so many ways to make it happen that there's really no excuse not to. Oh, Barbara, I got you. Okay, now we're talking beanies though. We're not talking baseball caps. We're talking beanies. So beanie is safe. A beanie is safe. Not a baseball cap though. Yes, very classy, very nice. And this is him. This is not, it's not an act. It's not him being, the cameras are on, so let me, no. This is him. I think Lauren did post something. She posted something. Either she posted, I did see her on Roland Martin. So she definitely said something about this. Go on her channel. And I know it was either yesterday or the day before yesterday. She was on Roland Martin. I don't know if she did anything separate from that, but she did go on Roland Martin and relay basically, what I said, what Dre said, but she did it first. She did it, I want to say, the next day, Tuesday or so. So, yeah, Barbara. Yeah, you don't want to wear the red baseball cap. That you don't want to do. Although I did see one that made it seem like it was a MAGA hat, but then it said "Psych made you look." That's a good one. Let's see. Oh, that's sweet. Well, Kat, Chillmonger, Dre, and Pam, they're content creators, so I don't know. Whatever's next for them is what they do. I mean, if they need me to come on, if it's related to something, definitely Jonathan Majors related, because that's how I got here. I haven't followed much else since. But if offline, we talk and they want to cover something else from a legal perspective, and I can help, then yeah, I'll do that. But like I said, I cannot promise you guys that I'll be doing a whole lot more. Unless, again, obviously we still have the civil suit, we still have the appeal, but again, that's going to be weeks and months in the making. And if the civil suit countersuit does not make her back down and it turns into a trial, then we'll have that, right? But again, I feel like that's months down the pipe. I pray it is. I pray that, B-Shells, check the chat. I pray that at least for the next few months, Jonathan can just focus on his child, first and foremost, focus on, whatever he's currently working on and adding more to that, more to his, acting. That's really what I'm hoping can happen in the next few months. I'm praying that we have a quiet spring, summer, and he can just live his best life until we know what's going to go on with the civil suit. Yeah, I just posted Juanita. I just posted it again. I'm posting the IG first and foremost because I want you guys to follow IG. From IG, there is a link to the Facebook page. So go to the IG page. I just posted in the chat. And then from there, you can follow the Facebook page. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to learn from it, Artemis, because the unfortunate thing about our Black media outlets and a lot of our Black media personalities is that the institution, as it's currently designed, has them always clamoring for position. Okay? And so if you want to keep your position as a high profile media person, I'm not talking like your local person that they sent to the Cherry Blossom Festival or to the, the Make-A-Wish Foundation fundraising event. I'm talking about your anchors that are at the anchoring table, your nationally known reporters and anchors. The positions are so few and far between that I know for a fact that they don't want to say or do anything that will compromise their position because they're expendable. And I almost feel like a moratorium was placed on all Black reporters and Black media, that if you say something about this, because a lot of those, griot, what's the other one? I can't think of it off the top of my head, but a lot of those griot, like The Root, they're not owned by Black people. And if they are owned by Black people, they're co-owned. BET no longer owned by Black people. So that being said, I feel like, I don't know if it's true or not, but it seems like they were told, stay away from this. Don't talk about it. If you talk about it in and out, we're not going to, dwell on it too much. Because I want to convince myself that that's the reason. And it's not because we literally sat there and said, He's on his own. He's on his own. Or like some of the comments that, oh, he messed with a white girl, so we can't rock with him. You know, I really hope that that's not the reason. I'm really hoping, I want to convince myself that it's because their respective parent companies or owners or whatever you want to call them told them, mum's the word, don't say anything about it. And then the ones that do say something about it, like the shade rooms, the gossips, the whatever. I don't follow any of them anymore, but those, independently owned blogs, they decided to take the clowning route. They decided to play bozo, the entire time. And now backpedaling. Now that they got all the clicks and the engagement and the, likes, now they want to backpedal and try to act like they were on his side all along. And so, at the end of the day, as long as he has people in his corner in real life, he's untouchable. Because if anything he should have learned from this is how fickle people are and people that don't know you are. And I mean, he knows because he, I have this mug here that I think I showed you guys before. It has a quote on it about minding your cup. He said his mom, when he went away to college, she told him to mind his cup. She meant it initially because, people put things in your drink. So watch your cup, watch your drink. But he, it evolves for him then that's why he walks around with a cup all the time, a mug, that you can't let people be the author and finisher of who you feel you are. You cannot let people fill your cup, because if you allow them to fill your cup, they can also pour you out, right? They can also pour you out when they don't want you anymore. So he has to be his own cheerleader. He has to have his own self-esteem. And he said that my self-esteem is my self-esteem. So he already knows that, but I feel like having real world and real life people let him know that to his face was important, was important. And people that really do legitimately care about him. Like, that's not just, trying to, be in his presence and fan out and, act like, and that's why I said I handpicked, who I wanted to bring in. Like I said, a lot of people couldn't come, but, it is what it is. He knows, so. Oh, you're talking about Lauren. So yeah, I guess go to the Roland Martin page, because I watched it. It was like maybe 10 minutes long, where Lauren is talking on the Roland Martin show. That's the fan club link for Instagram. It's the official Jonathan Majors fan page, PG for page. So go on that Instagram. From there, you can also find the Facebook page. There's also a website that I'm going to have made, but I have to talk to Jonathan's publicist first, because we're supposed to be working together to create to cultivate a positive online presence for him. So that's the pike. But for right now, there are the Instagram and the Facebook pages. Let's see, what other comments do we have? Yeah, little petite. It's just a terrible. I just hate. And I can only speak for us. I'm not of any other. I do not claim to be. I do not claim. I do have a multiracial background, but I am Black. I claim Blackness. I am a Black person. I was raised as a Black person. I grew up in a Black neighborhood, Black and Hispanic neighborhood. I am Black, African American, whatever you want to call it, a person of color. I can only speak for the culture that I represent, the culture that I was raised in. And it's unfortunate that us, as Black people, who I have been around, my entire life, how we fall so easily for the trap of tearing each other down. You know, it's mind blowing to me. And I mean, nobody's perfect. I'm not sitting here acting like I haven't criticized a celebrity or criticized something that's going on in the media. But it's one thing to criticize or disagree with something, or, you know, not rock with something and completely tearing a person down. For example, and I might get some flack for this, and I really don't care. That Beyonce country album is bull to me. I'm not rocking with that. But that's it. That's it, and that's all. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Move on. I don't need to go on every social media platform that's talking about it and call her names and talk about her kid, or say Jay-Z's not attractive, or say that, she's doing too much, or I don't have to do all that. You can have an opinion about a situation and not tear somebody down, and not make a concerted effort to every opportunity you get to go on social media and rip this person apart. Like, what are you gaining by that? So I think a lot of it is projection. Again, I'm not on a high horse. I've said and done some really shitty shit in my life. You know, when I say done, I'm not saying like criminal activity or, things like that. But nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. And maturity teaches us to look back at the things we may have said and done, make it right, move on. To date, I've expressed an opinion that, but again, I move on. I don't spend my days sitting on social media just tearing people down and tearing people apart just because I have nothing else better to do. So that's really an inside issue. That's an inside work issue that a lot of these people have. And not to make light of, mental illness, because again, that is my area of work. That's what I work in. A lot of my clients also have, they might be intellectually disabled, but they also have mental illnesses. So there's medications for that, right? A lot of my students have mental illnesses. I actually, this shoulder, I had a student that was schizophrenic, and she was my height and weight, and she was fighting, and I restrained her. I restrained her pretty well, but then she threw me back against the classroom door trying to get away and almost broke my shoulder. So that's because she didn't take her medication that morning. She was supposed to come in to the nurse's office before coming to class and take her medication, and she didn't. So I completely understand mental illness, but I always joke that social media is a virtual psychiatric ward where the patients have taken over the hospital, because there's so many people on there with issues that you can see it in the way that they comment, the way that if you express an opinion, it's almost like you said something about their firstborn child. They will not stop. They just keep going and going and going and going. And it's an obsessive, constant barrage of replying and insulting. And it's just insanity. And that's literally what social media has been reduced to the point where on my own business social media page, I have to put not a safe place for bullies. Because the minute you say something to me, you're going to get your feelings hurt. And then I'm going to block you. Because at the end, I'm not going to sit there and let you talk crazy to me on social media over the fact that I said that Jonathan made, or anything. I could say anything. It could be something about relating to real estate, about squatters' rights. Oh, somebody that's pro-squatter might think that it's okay to take over someone's house and not pay them rent. And I'll say something from a real estate expertise like, well, that is illegal. You can't do that. And then you'll get 300 people underneath my one comment calling me all types of everything but a child of God. And I'm like, all this because I said that squatters should not have rights? Like, that's how crazy it gets. But I digress. Right. And like Juanita said, it's easier to convince yourself that he did something than to be brave and stand up for something that's right, or back or against something that's wrong. Oh, you're talking about Byron Allen. Yeah, he another one. Don't get me started on him. All I'll say is he ain't for us either, because this guy, he buys up all these networks where he's actually more powerful than Tyler Perry at this point from a media perspective, and does nothing for us. Does absolutely nothing for us. Yeah, and now these same people are on social media. No, he didn't. I told you he didn't do it. He shouldn't have got jail time anyway. This shouldn't have even been brought to trial. Same people that 8 weeks ago, and now he's a fashion icon. Oh, that coat is fire. That jacket is fire. Oh, can somebody tell me where to get that jacket? But 6 to 8 weeks ago, he can't dress. Megan needs to teach him how to dress. He dresses like this. He dresses like that. When I tell you cognitive dissonance is going to be the undoing of us as a people, that's my biggest fear. That's my biggest fear. And yes, the media lifts you up and then tears you down. And then the comeback, exactly. It's literally like wash, rinse, and repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat. It's a vicious cycle. And I think we have to stop being part of it. That's why I kind of get frustrated when I see shares of the anti-media. Because I'm like, stop sending people to their pages. It's one thing if you mention it in passing, but I'm not going to provide you a link. I'm not going to retweet. I'm not going to show it on my screen during any of my YouTube content creation, because I'm not trying to drive more traffic to your bullshit. You know, so that's kind of what frustrates me when we do that, because I'm like, you're helping these people perpetuate these narratives about not only Jonathan Majors, but other people that are dealing with similar situations or situations of injustice. Thank you guys, because at the end of the day, if you don't watch, if you don't share, if you don't come in here live and comment, I'm up to 139 now. So if 139 of you are watching, can I get 139 likes, please? Like, thumbs up, please, thumbs up. And yeah, that's not a cap. I don't know if you're saying I'm capping or I don't know, but all skin folk ain't kinfolk. I mean, you know that from, you know, any given slavery movie or anything else. You always had that one that was going to dime everybody else out for the cause. Yeah, I don't rock with it. I mean, whatever. But that's it. That's my opinion. That's your opinion, Southern Belle. That's your opinion, Dixon. But are we going on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, spending the whole day insulting her or the album? No, I said what I said, and I'm moving on. I'm out. You know what I mean? I'm out. Like, why do we have to go beyond just saying what we said? Yeah, I don't do bandwagoning either, ever. If I like something, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And we just move on. It's literally that simple. Oh, yeah, right? There was one perfect guy, and that was who? JC. And the Romans killed him. But he got up on Easter Sunday. I don't know, Adiola. I don't know. I know he does not have his own personal social media that we know of. You know, I mean, I can't speak for any burner accounts. I can't speak for if he's watching from someone else's account. I don't know. I don't. I really don't. I like I told you guys before, prior to this, I only used YouTube for do-it-yourself videos because I'm always doing stuff around my house. And occasionally, if my daughters would send me something, I would kind of reluctantly watch it because I don't have the attention span to sit and watch a 5-minute long YouTube video, let alone 2 and 3 hours. So if he's anything like me, I don't think he's sitting here watching 2 and 3 hour YouTube streams. I don't know. Maybe somebody's clipping things and sending it to him. I have no idea, but I can't imagine him sitting here for 2 and 3 hours unless he has insomnia watching these these multitude of YouTube videos unless he watches them as they happen or immediately after they happen. So he's not binging. But I don't know. I don't even know if he has that kind of time. Hey Pam, how you doing? Yeah, Cat stays on it. She's on it. Oh yeah, definitely. Like there's a couple of memes out here. It's called, they say it's social media, not your diary, or it's social media, not your therapist. A lot of people, especially on Facebook. I mean, I'm exposed to way too much of people's personal information, and I'm just like, dude, I did not need to know that. A couple of times I had to ask in the comments, did you call the police? Because I'm like, you sitting here posting this on social media, like, did you call 911? You know, so literally that's where we've gotten to. We've gotten to the point where we go to social media first and then call the police or the ambulance second. And that's just wild business to me. Yes, he has worn that coat before. And that's another thing. And that just shows you that people don't really know who he is. And they just go by secondhand information, because that coat, I want to say it's at least a year or two old, because it was in a photo shoot that he did. Adobe, I want to say it was an Adobe. I don't know if it was sponsored by Adobe, but it, the backdrop of those pictures was Adobe company. They create and design Adobe Acrobat, Adobe Reader, you know, Acrobat Reader, Adobe, the company. A lot of their software is used in video editing and filming. So I don't know if they were a sponsor, but of that particular photo shoot. When I saw it on Monday, I recognized it right away. I thought it was black and white, but it is a very nice coat. But I'm saying that to say, all of a sudden he can dress now, you know. All of a sudden Jonathan Majors is a fashion icon now that, you know, he didn't get the time that y'all expected or wanted him to get, which is, you know, like I said, it's crazy to me. But, you know, I'll take it because if that means, yeah, this is the coat. So it's Adobe. And I love this denim outfit too. This denim outfit that he has, and it also has an Adobe logo in the backdrop with some other advertisers, I think. But yeah, it was the Adobe. Yeah, he was behind this Adobe, in front of this Adobe backdrop for this particular. I would say it was a photo shoot. It was more like, I guess, like a red carpet type thing. But yeah, so yeah, that's not the first time we saw this coat, but it is a very nice coat, very, very nice coat. But that's, you know, that's my style anyway. Outside of that jumper that you guys love so much, most of my clothes are more eclectic in nature. That's why I'm like, God, these guys are making such a big deal over this jumpsuit. I have way better clothes than this. But yeah. Yep, exactly. Exactly. It's all about the agenda. Thank you, Pam. Like this video now. Do it now. All right, let's see what other comments we have. Yes, I have actually. When we went to New York on Monday, we had talked. Me and the people I brought talked about doing something. So we're trying to figure it out, because, you know, it could be a logistical nightmare if not done correctly. Just the 7 of us that were there, you know, it wasn't terrible. I got us a good hotel right in Times Square. We were at the Hilton for a really good price. Everybody was able to be flown in, very, very low cost. Everything went really smoothly, but that's 7 people. So, it just depends on, and then you have to be careful too, because yeah, you have fans, but then you have people that might not be all, so we don't want, Zach, we don't want it to be a situation where it gets negative press, right? Because that's another reason why I handpicked who I brought with me. Because you don't want it to be a situation where you think somebody's down for the cause and then they turn around and say something crazy or do something crazy. So, oh no, Kat, I don't know. I thought I did. I thought I had Super Chat set up. Well, if not, then I guess I'll give you my my Cash App, because I thought I had Super Chat set up, because I got a few of them. I got a few of them when I first started, so I don't know if YouTube took it off, because I did have to re-verify some stuff with my bank account and everything else and upload ID. So I think they might have turned it off. I think they might have turned off the Super Chats, which kind of sucks, because I don't know what happened. I really don't even know how this all works. So I did put if you want to send something, it's not required, but if you did want to send something, I put my Cash App in the chat, because I don't know what happened to the Super Chats, to tell you the truth. I don't even know how it works. I thought it was automatic once you get monetized, but apparently it's not. I don't know. I have no idea what happened with the Super Chat. Y'all are killing me with these comments. Let's see. Juanita. Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly what I told Jonathan too. Because again, and I've said this several times before, I'm very spiritual. I'm a recovering Pentecostal, but I do believe in spiritual gifts. And I do know that I have a gift of discernment, and I listen to that. And I listen to, what that spirit is telling me. And if I don't feel right about something, I don't do it, and it's nothing to say about, anybody specific in terms of why I picked who I picked or whatever. Some of it is, some of it was because I knew the media was going to be there, and I didn't want, any negative press or anybody trying to crack jokes again. But the majority of it was based on how I felt, what I felt inside in terms of what the right dynamic would be. Felt inside from being led to that. And I feel like Jonathan has that too. Because I straight up asked him, I said, this was a while ago. This wasn't Monday. I asked him, I said, do you want me to sign an NDA? And he said no. And I was so surprised that he said no. Not that I know that I'm good. I know that I'm not a bad person, and I wouldn't do anything, to harm anyone, let alone him. But I offered it because I'm like, it's weird. That's a weird conversation to have. That's kind of like when you're in a relationship with somebody and you want them to sign a prenup, right? That's a weird conversation to have. So I offered it because I didn't want, I'm like, just in case he's thinking it and doesn't want to say it, let me ask, so that I'm opening the door to that. And then maybe he could be like, you know what? Let me ask Priya. Let me ask Andrew. Let me ask, Seth. And right away, he said no. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. I'm saying that to say I feel like Jonathan also has that gift where he knows people he can trust versus people that he can't. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm getting text messages. Thank you, Kat. Appreciate you. But I'm just saying that to say. And he does. Hazel, that man can dress. That's why I'm just like, y'all find one outfit that you don't like, and then you turn it into that's his whole personality because you didn't like that one outfit. Now he can't dress. You know, for example, the people that, like I said, I'm still shocked by the reception I got for that very regular looking jumpsuit that I had on. People will see that jumpsuit and assume that I can't dress. And what if I can't? You know what I mean? I think I do. I think I can cut. I can, you know, I can dress. But I don't think that was my best. I don't even think that was halfway my best. But everybody liked it. You know what I mean? So like everyone's perception is different, you know, for what they consider being, you know, fashion forward. But and then the opposite is true, you know, or his name is true, I don't know. But you know, oh he exactly. Spent less than the DA spent bringing exactly. Just craziness. They might need to hire me in the DA's office so I can save them some money, and then they can give it to me in my salary, and I can prevent stuff like this happening again. But you know, they'll see one thing that they don't like about how he dresses, and turn it into he can't dress, or he looks like he's in the civil rights, or he, you know, it's just stupidness. And I'm just like, I thank God that he has the self-confidence that he has, and that he does not have social media. So I'm positive he's not even seeing the majority of the stupidness that people are saying. But you know, it's just crazy to me how people feel like that their opinion is the be all end all in people's lives. I'm like, if you took that energy and put it into your own life, you would probably have a better life. But you sit here on social media all day, clowning people, insulting people, and just craziness. Just absolute craziness. Yeah, Kat, I'm not sure. Are you talking to me? Clarify that for me, please. I'm not sure. Oh, Lord. RS, we already know what that is. Yeah, that is not how NDAs work. When I asked him about an NDA, that was so that he would feel comfortable saying certain things and not worry about me telling someone else. But yeah, the NDAs don't work that way, like Kat said. You kind of lose the privilege of the NDA if you yourself in turn breach it. You know what I mean? Because there's always fine print. You cannot have someone sign an NDA, you know, saying, okay, anything that happens between us, you can't, you know, go out and tell anybody, and then turn around and bust them upside the head with a marble plate and expect them not to. That's not how an NDA works. If you commit a crime against me, now that NDA is no longer in effect, right? Because you cannot tell me I cannot tell someone that you committed a crime against me. That's different. Now, what I was saying in terms of an NDA was so that anything that he told me, whether it be about his work, whether it be about the case, whether it be about his personal life, that he did not have to worry about me turning around and repeating it on YouTube or repeating it on Facebook. I would never do that anyway, because that's just who I am. But I wanted him to feel comfortable that I would not do it because I have a lot to lose. And I was not trying to lose. I'm not trying to lose what I have either, getting sued, you know, and I'm not trying to add insult to injury either by, you know, telling people things that he doesn't want people to know, you know. And like I said, he said no. And so I took that as either he trusts me. That's all I really can take it as, because I don't want to say that, you know, he has poor judgment, because I'm not a bad person. I'm not somebody that would do anything to harm him. But I guess I've proven that thus far, because I'm not, that's just not me. I don't clout chase. I'm not trying to clout chase. I did not do this for clout. I did this to help the situation, to help you guys see. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking. Help you guys see what was really going on. in the courtroom once I realized that the reporters weren't reporting what I was seeing. And then it just kind of, snowballed from here. Um, let's see. All right, so I think that's it right now. Oh wait, Aisha. Oh, okay, right. I think I put that one up. Exactly, Aisha. So once a crime is committed against the person that signed the NDA, it's no longer valid, because now not only can that crime be prosecuted, but things leading up to that crime can. And if that's stuff that was secret prior to the crime, now it can come out because you committed the crime. You committed a crime against the person that signed the NDA. Thank you, Brown Sugar Sheep. I like to pride myself in my integrity. I'm a person of my word, and like I said, I can tell you I'm going to do something for you, and you can piss me off, and I'm still going to do it because I told you I was going to do it. I might not talk to you anymore after that, but I'm going to do what it is I told you I'm going to do. And I'm not going to take that as an opportunity because I'm upset with you to go and tell everything now. Oh, well, since she pissed me off, Brown Sugar did this, and this. She said that. No, that's not me. I'm not doing that because I'm a firm believer in karma, and I don't want that coming back on me, Not to mention, that's just not me. I don't live in fear. I don't live, I'm sorry, my lip gloss is coagulating, if that's what you want to call it. I don't live in fear of karma, and that's the reason why I'm a good person. I believe in it, or in the biblical sense, reaping what you sow. But I just think I'm a good, that's just how I was raised. Let's just put it that way. That's just how I was raised, and that's how I raised my daughters. Do right by people that don't do right by you, disconnect, disengage, don't go for revenge, because karma has partnered up with Amazon Prime, and she's been coming fast and furious. So sometimes you don't even gotta wait a week. Sometimes it happens the same day. So, that's out of your hand. Like the Bible says, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. So, I will, Aisha, if, and again, I'm praying that once the countersuit is filed and they see what they're up against, they just back down, because any good lawyer that knows what they're doing, I'm anticipating that civil suit is going to be hell on wheels. Any good lawyer that knows what they're doing would advise their client to let it go. But we clearly see that she does not have a good lawyer, because she shouldn't have filed that civil suit to begin with. But that's another conversation. If they decide to ill-advise her and have her keep pursuing it, it will become a trial. Similar to the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. It will be that same kind of situation where it's happening simultaneously. And yeah, they are pushing her, and they're not advising her properly, and there is a such thing as malpractice in the legal profession. So I don't know. After hearing that victim impact statement, I knew right then and there that they were not working for her best interest. They're more focused on that sanctuary for families business. And that's crazy to me, because you got her out here looking like a straight fool and sounding even more foolish just to advance a nonprofit in this whole Me Too movement. And like I said, if she pursues this civil suit after seeing the countersuit, I guess we'll be meeting her grandchildren, still talking about this in 2040 to 2050, and how they still owe Jonathan Majors money. Because, yeah, she'll be lucky if she gets a toddler tumbling class at a ballet studio after this. But, yeah, he has people in his corner. He definitely does. He has us. I'm gonna play this really quick for you.
No, with the thing.
Acting crazy, but he had us. He has us. He has all of you guys. Millions of you. There's definitely millions where you guys have come from. You know, like I said, this is just a microcosm of what's really out there for him. Oh wow, that's interesting. Well, let's see who's paying for this one. But at the end of the day, I don't think he will lose this one because there's just way too much against her above and beyond that little bit of stuff she mentioned. That, yeah, and just the fact that she basically, she did straight up say, I'm going to continue to harass this man until I'm blue in the face. So now you're admitting that what you're doing is harassing him in a victim impact statement. So, I mean, it's just like the brain cells are just dying off one by one with every word that comes out of her mouth. So I'm just like, I personally feel like they need to just let this go. But if not, I'll be there. I'll be there with guns smoking. Let's see. Yes, God has his hand on it. The signs are there, but some people just don't. Godless people don't see that. They don't see that. They don't see it, and they never will. So, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, that too, Juanita. It could be her. It could be the lawyer, like making a suggestion, or kind of like I'll liken it to my real estate business. I don't like to work with sellers a lot for this very reason. Sellers can be delusional. And I'm sure Kat can attest to this because I think she does a lot of work in the real estate industry as well. Sellers can be delusional, especially in markets like mine, where you go from a house being purchased at $400,000 2 years ago, and now it's worth $900,000. They can be delusional. I have someone on my street right now trying to get $1 million for a house half the size of mine. And the agent listed it for that. Right? So some of it is the lawyer, a lot of it is the client. You know, so now when you don't get that almost $1 million that you want for that house, you're going to blame the agent. Even though I kind of told you that you can't get that because your neighbor's house has an extra 1,000 square feet. They have a pool, they have a lake, they have this, they have that. You don't have the square footage. You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the same concept where your client, you can tell your client certain things and they don't necessarily have to listen because they're paying you. You know, so it could very well be her. That is her pathology because her chasing him the way she did and calling him 32 times and texting and faking dead in the closet, that's all that same pathology that would lead you to say something like, I will not rest until he can no longer, whatever the actual words were. But what stuck out to me is I will not rest. So that's that same entitlement. That's that same obsessive personality type where you just won't stop until you get stopped. And that's why I said earlier that he might need to file some type of restraining order. It can't be, I don't know what type, just to protect himself. Because if you're saying you're not going to stop, then what exactly are you going to do? You can't call him. You can't talk to him. You can't be near him, physically near him. So what does not stopping look like? What does not resting look like? Is that slander? Is that libel? Is that defamation? Because that's really all you can do to not rest and to make sure he's continually and perpetually miserable is to just keep saying things. and alluding to things and hinting around at things. So now you're skating on thin ice because you're going to set yourself up to fall straight through it. I don't know. That's just my opinion. She's going to do this. Aisha, that's a good question. And Aisha made a good point. I don't know, because I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think there've ever been any New York televised trials, so probably not. So we'll be back in this same predicament again, where I'm gonna have to be sitting there taking notes. I need to brush up on my shorthand, I guess, because that handwritten notes, they started looking like hieroglyphics after a while. If it's because it's federal. That's a good question. I need to look that up. I need to Google that because it's federal. So maybe if it's federal, there might be. That's a good question. I don't know. I'll look into that. I'll definitely look into that because I don't know if federal is different. Because I know with federal, you can, as a public citizen, request access to hearings where you can sit in on the hearing. You can't do that in civil and criminal. So that being said, being that you cannot do that in civil and criminal, but you can in federal, that might also mean that you can have cameras in the room. So I will look at that. I'll look into that. Sorry, I didn't realize it's already 2 o'clock. I gotta go in like 10 minutes because I have an appointment. I have a self-care appointment, so I gotta leave you guys soon. But yeah, that's a good question. And we might, if not like video cameras, they might allow photography. They might even allow audio. Because like I said, unlike civil and criminal, federal, you can, as a public citizen, request access to their hearing via Zoom or I forgot what they use. I think they use Microsoft Teams. You can request. So if that's the case, then that would be awesome. It would save me a whole lot of time too. And all I have to do is just give my take on it instead of writing whole legal briefs every day well into the night. Oh, thank you. Skinnle. Thank you. God bless you too. Oh yeah, New York is really shady, period. I grew up there, and you had the President of the United States, the poster child for New York shadiness. He's actually the poster child for what represents New York. That was your president for 4 years. That staged the whole mutiny on the Capitol of Washington, D.C. I'm sure it's public records. I'm sure that can be a public records request. Oh yeah, absolutely, Kat, and provide receipts because there's somebody on Twitter right now that we are confident that it's either her or somebody very, very close to her that just only comments whenever we talk about Jonathan Majors and sits there and tries to pretend like everything we're saying isn't true when we're sitting there providing transcripts and other receipts. So it's just crazy. I think he can file a restraining order. They did on Monday reactivate or whatever a permanent restraining order for her against him, which I that's like, redundant because nobody want to go near her or plan to talk to her or anything else. But I feel like with her saying what she said in terms of not resting, that to me, that was a threat. Not necessarily a physical harm, but a threat to keep bothering him, to keep, doing things that can be considered harassment and defamation and libel and slander. Because at this point, that's all she has. That's all she can do to keep his name negatively cycled through the media. And that, again, that's going to backfire. I don't know who's advising her, but oh, definitely melanin. I'm licensed in Florida, Georgia, and Illinois, and soon to be Connecticut. But I mean, this is pretty much the same nationwide for the most part. If you're in New York, it's a little different. Well, a lot different. That's why we don't have reciprocity in New York. But most other states are very similar to the state that I'm currently licensed in. So, yeah, exactly. Impeached, perjured, and everything else. Everything else. It's just insane. It's absolutely like, woo! Like, I don't understand. Stop it. Oh yeah, they're going to keep delaying it, but mainly as a strategic move, not because they don't have a good countersuit. It would be mainly for strategy, so he can work, you know, because it's just otherwise he'll never be able to work because he's going to always be having to show up for court dates. But the good thing that the judge did say was he does have a compliance hearing in September, and the judge said he does not have to come; it can be virtual. That's just to make sure that he's in compliance with the diversion course that he has to take, and in compliance with continuing the therapy that he's been in for months. So that's good. He does not have to appear in person for the September hearing, but that's the only upcoming hearing to date. Now, in terms of the civil suit, I'm sure they're going to try to make a date between now and, you know, whatever, assuming that the countersuit is filed. But they can wait as long as they want to file the countersuit, just to delay. And then once it's filed, like Kirby said, once it's filed, federal moves really fast. So you don't really want that to move fast if he's working. So yeah, there's definitely ways to kind of slow it down, but it's going to happen. And so, you know, it's crazy. It's just insane. All right. Oh, thank you. Let's see, any more comments? Not real. Yeah, Barbara, that's not good. What state are you in? Yeah, exactly. And that's why I kind of don't like, I do it, but I'm more for the buyers. I don't really like to deal with sellers, especially in my market, because like I said, I'm not listing your house for 1.1 million if it's only worth 8. You know, because again, that's my integrity, that's my reputation, that's how long your house sits on the market because nobody's looking for it because it's not coming up in search results. That's a whole lot of stuff that can ding my reputation because I'm not going with what my professional opinion tells. And I'm trying to, because a lot of these agents are greedy too. So they're almost hoping that they find somebody crazy enough to pay that for the house. And they have, because there's a couple of houses on my street that went for that. And I'm like, okay, good. You're breaking my value up. But at the same time, they're going to be upside down if this market, you know, flips around. Well, I don't think she has any employment, and that was the whole thing. That was kind of what she alluded to in her victim impact statement. She's not working. She's not working. So that's the problem. Oh, Gaffy peeped it even when he responded to the motion to set aside the verdict. I think that if everything was in a better, if it was done better and more ethically, I feel like he would have granted it. But even if you look at his response, he was very calculated and careful about his response. And I feel like that's because he knows that this was BS. But it's politics, you know what I mean? These people have to get elected, you know, and you cannot compromise that by going against the DA's office on an upcoming election year, right? So that's why I think he did what he did for the sentencing, and he said certain things to let the media and the public know, I ain't rocking with this, but I got it, you know, this is my job too. You know what I mean? Yeah, he does. Because if you could have seen his face, he just was completely disgusted / in awe of the audacity that she had with the stuff that she was saying. Let me see. Thank you, Pam. No, she doesn't want to work, right? That's the thing. And she wasn't intending on having to work until this, this whole thing happened. So it is what it is. All right, guys, I got to get ready to go. Yep, exactly. And the work visas cost money too. That's why if you ever apply for jobs, they ask you if you ever will require sponsorship and da-da-da. Companies don't want to pay for that. The only jobs they pay for that for are those IT jobs. Because the majority of those jobs, and I have a lot of East Indian friends, the majority of those jobs are sourced from East India and they get their work visas through that. But other than that, no, they don't want to pay for those work visas because they're expensive and they're not permanent. So like every 6 to 8 months or so, you got to keep, and sometimes the people have to go home. Friends of mine had to go home 6 months and come back to get the visa renewed because they maxed out on their 5 years. So, it's a lot behind that, and it slows down a lot of businesses, and it's expensive. So yeah, she doesn't want to have to work for it. You guys have a great day too. It was awesome. Thank you for joining. I totally did not think I would get anybody on here at 12 o'clock in the afternoon because I thought you guys would be sleeping, working, or any combination of the two. But thank you guys. I got 164 in here. I want to see 164 likes and shares. And thank you guys. I'll be back at some point. You might see me on Chill or Dre or Pam's show, but other than that, I'm not going to probably post much more content unless something else crazy happens. But thank you guys. I love you guys. And yeah, just keep watching, and please follow that fan page. I put it again in the chat. Instagram, the official Jonathan Majors fan page, PG for page. All right, and please share and let everybody know, because like I said, we want to have a lot of exclusive content directly from Jonathan and directly from his publicist, stuff that other pages don't have. So we want you, and again, I'm a direct contact, so there's an email for the fan page and everything else. We'll be running contests. We'll be doing a lot of different things to like keep it, to give him more positive press, to keep him, positively in the media's eye. Obviously, any new work that he's doing or will be doing, you'll be the first to know about it. Okay, so please follow that page and let everybody know to follow it. And I love you guys. I thank you so much for putting up with my not knowing how any of this works. And I will see you guys again soon. I just don't know when or how, but I will. All right. So you guys have a good day. Have a good weekend. And I'm going to, get my guns up and ones up. All right. Have a good day.